to order. Let the record show a quorum of board members is present and that this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Welcome, everyone. We're going to begin our meeting tonight with administering the oath of office to place 3, place 4, and place 5 duly elected trustees. So Mr. Welch will begin that process.
Thank you, Dr. Tolbert. And so we are going to proceed with this, and we'll do each place individually. So we're going to start off with place 3. And so, Mr. Morgan, would you join us? If you will raise your right hand. And in the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Craig Morgan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of School Board Trustee, Place 3
of School Board Trustee, Place 3
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Morgan, do you have individuals in the audience with you tonight?
I do. My wife and my mother-in-law.
Would you like them to join you for?
I would love to.
Come on up.
Craig, if you'll join us at the dais, we would appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, now we have place 4, Mr. William Bowes. Raise your right hand. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, William Bowes,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of School Board Trustee, Place 4
of School Board Trustee, Place 4
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of the state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
And now for place 5, Mr. Stephen G. Newcomb. Newcomb, if you'll raise your right hand, absolutely. You know this well, don't you?
Times.
In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Stephen G. Newcomb,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of School Board Trustee, Place 5
of School Board Trustee, Place 5
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD
of the state of
of the
Texas,
state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And Mr. Newcomb, do you have somebody to join you from the audience?
I do. My wife Joy Newcomb's been here for all these induction ceremonies. Here's a brother goes. Sorry. She's doing good. Yeah.
And before we proceed with the remainder of our agenda, I do have a milestone moment that we would like to talk about. And on behalf of our board, I would like to take a moment this evening to acknowledge a milestone occasion. With this oath of office, Mr. Stephen G. Newcomb officially becomes the longest serving and longest continually serving member of the ISD Board of Trustees. Tonight begins his 11th term of service on the board and the start of his 31st year as an EMS ISD trustee. Mr. Newcomb was first elected to the board in 1995. I hope we have that right. I hope I have that right.
Correct.
A proud graduate of Boswell High School, Newcomb's dedication to the district spans decades and generations. Both of his parents were educators at Boswell High School when it first opened, and today the gymnasium at the school is named in honor of his father. The Newcomb legacy continues with Stephen G. Newcomb Middle School on the horizon, and his sons and grandchildren also have proudly attended EMS ISD. During his tenure on the board, Steve Newcomb has served multiple terms as president, including from 2016 to 2021, has earned the state designation of Master Trustee, and serves on the TASB Board of Directors. Mr. Newcomb's steadfast commitment to our district and the greater community reflects his passion for service. He continues to serve as a guiding voice, leveraging his experience and leadership to positively impact the students, staff, and families in EMS ISD. His dedication to the district, its growth, and its future is both respected and deeply appreciated. We look forward to his continued leadership, mentorship, and service as our most veteran trustee. And I want to say personally, I appreciate so much all you do. We all depend on you for the financial piece, the history, all the different things that go on where you have been a mentor to all of us. And so thank you for your service and your continued service and continuing to support this district.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks to all of you that went to the polls and voted. We appreciate your exercising your civic duty. Okay, we will go next to recognition of Aspiring Leader Institutes and our Aspiring Administrator Institutes, Dr. Walter Behringer and Miss Elizabeth Sanders.
Madam President, Dr. Hollingsworth, members of the board. First of all, I want to say congratulations and thank you to Mr. Bowes for remaining on the board. Mr. Morgan, man, congratulations and welcome to the MS ISD board. Glad to have you. And then, of course, what can you say to the incomparable Mr. Nicholson? So congratulations and thank you for all of your years of faithful service. Ms. Sanders and I are here to recognize and honor those that have participated in AAI and ALI over the course of this year. I wanted to make sure to recognize that ALI and AAI, or Aspiring Administrators Institute and Aspiring Leaders Institute, directly correlate with our strategic plan, Aspire 2027, specifically strategy 5.1, where it says to foster a culture of personalized continuous growth for teachers and staff that leads to excellence. It's a pretty rigorous process of getting to both of those groups, and we're grateful for the recommendations of staff, but also the participation of those that we are going to recognize here tonight. We're going to begin with recognizing our ALI members. And the first that we would like to recognize is Amelia Cluck. Ashton Spillers. Carissa Johnson. Chloe McMahon. Jacob Firestone. Jennifer Gardner. Joanne Miller. Jonathan Farrer. Kimberly Dunn. Sarah Robbins. Stephanie Smith. Tamara Taylor.
I'd like to just take a moment to recognize all those in the audience who are family members and have supported the ALI team with their participation in the leadership this year. So if you'll stand, please, if you're here to support an ALI member. I have the pleasure of calling the names of the Aspiring Administrators Institute completions. Angela Martin. Christopher Alt. Emily Reams. Heather Smith. Jennifer Orona. Jessica Rittmuller. Joshua Massey. Catherine Harnish. Chrissy McFarland. Lori Mabry. Priscilla Cesaretta. Raymond Gilmore. Stephen Sylvia. And Tara Mancino. And if you are here this evening supporting your AAI member, please stand and be recognized for your support.
Thank you. And congratulations to all of you. Thank you for going the extra mile and getting that certificate. And I know it takes a lot of work and dedication, so we appreciate your continued support and learning at Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. Okay, so yes, you may go if you would like, but you're welcome to stay. Okay, so we'll begin with the reports of the superintendent. We don't have any speakers this evening, so we'll go right into the operations report. And that will be our first one is quarterly demographics and housing analysis. Mr. Templeton.
Well, good evening, Board President, members of the board, Superintendent Hollingsworth. It is great to be here with you tonight. This is our first quarter report, and we have included some information around vouchers, what we've studied from other states, and I'll speak briefly on some other trends regarding private school enrollments and also how we expect the information to change over the next several months as we learn more about the implementation of the vouchers. So real quickly, I'll start by economic conditions. This graph is a relatively new graph. It is illustrating the turquoise line is the unemployment rates. We do like to use the unemployment rates as a general gauge for how the economy is doing. The purple bar is the job growth change. And the good news is the DFW region continues to see low unemployment rates. The forecasted unemployment rates continue to be in that near 4% range. We are expected to see job growth sustained through the next 2 to 3 years, despite what's going on with the cloudiness around the still high inflation, the interest rate still being a little high, the housing market is cloudy around tariffs. So there's a lot of things that are definitely causing some concern, but we do have to keep things in context. It's still really good to be in Texas. It's still really good to be in the DFW market because the DFW market is positioned to see continued job growth. We are still fortunate in Texas to see the four of the strongest housing markets of the top 6 in the country. Dallas, Fort Worth in the #1 spot, Houston in the 2nd spot, San Antonio's in the 4th spot, Austin is down in the 6th spot. Again, we're still seeing good numbers in terms of new home starts and closings. When we look at specific starts and closings, the purple line is the start rate, the turquoise line is the annualized closing rate. Again, you can see it's been a bit of a roller coaster. The good news is when we look at the last 5 quarters, starts and closings have kind of stayed pretty close together. So they're very healthy in terms of the overall market, and it is still above where it was in 2019. So if you take out the big roller coaster bump from the COVID starts, it's really a pretty gradual increase that we've seen. New housing has managed to squeak out some gains because of their marketing, because of buying down of the interest rate, some of the strategies that the new home market is using to lure in buyers is helping them, while the overall housing market is still a little bit challenging. When we look at the ranking report based on annual closings, the Eagle Mountain Saginaw School District is in the 8th spot based on annual closings. We've got an annual closing number of 1,784. You can see our starts have slipped a little bit. We did see a drop in starts in the first quarter, so a little bit of a slowdown in starts, but you do have about 1,800 vacant developed lots and about 9,368 future lots. Again, we track it by quarter. You can see the first quarter start number down at 212 starts. Because of this, I did create a low scenario, taking into account that this could be a trend that puts us in a lower annualized number for the start of the next school year. And we've got a closing number at about 172. When we break it down by your elementary attendance zones, the Hatley Elementary Zone, far and away building the most single family homes, 692 is the annualized start rate. The Eagle Mountain Zone is in the second spot with 223 annual starts. They have the highest amount of future lots. So the Eagle Mountain Elementary Zone will see sustained growth just because of that high number of future lots. Where you can see the Hatley Zone, it's going to kind of burn through their activity pretty quickly. And then the Eagle Mountain Zone within probably the next 1 to 2 quarters will become the #1 most active elementary zone in the district. The Bryson Zone in the third spot, also trending down in terms of their supply of vacant developed lots and the future lots. So down the road, that growth is going to shift into the Lake Country Elementary Zone, and Parkview's got some new lots that potentially will then give them a little bit of a growth spurt. Here's the big picture. Your elementary attendance zones are outlined in purple. The green shaded areas are the active subdivisions. We have 27 actively building subdivisions, 9 future subdivisions. Those are the yellow shaded areas. And you can see those really large yellow shaded areas that are in the Eagle Mountain Elementary Zone. That does constitute the largest share of the futures. We are still seeing groundwork. So groundwork is underway on those areas with a red outline. We've got 1,800 lots in 6 different subdivisions that are actively working to deliver new lots. And we delivered about 400 new lots in the first quarter. I'll touch on some of the highlights. The Sanderos development is 203 total lots, 30 homes under construction. It's in the Chisholm Ridge Elementary Attendance Zone. You can see the satellite image from this May. We can see this area is really just getting started, and a good start with 30 homes under construction. Now in the multifamily picture, again, seeing some rather unusual numbers in that the occupancy rates are still very low. These are some of the lowest occupancy rates that we've seen in the last 20 years, and it's because we're adding so many apartments. We've added 35,329 apartment units as of March of 25, while we've only absorbed 19,588. That's what's keeping the occupancy rates down. You can see it's had a kind of an up and down effect on the rent rates. The rent rates are at about $1,500 per square foot, and the number of apartments offering concessions, that's discounts on first month's rent, some discounts on some deposits, at about 39% of the apartments offering some concessions. Now, I wanted to get through that quickly to get to the real meat of this report, because we want to talk about the enrollment trends. And this is the thematic map based on 1-year enrollment change. That's the map on the left side of this slide. And you can see the enrollment this year at 5.5 million students across our public schools. The bar graph represents the annual enrollment change, and this year's enrollment growth very similar to last year. Last year we grew about 12,700 students. This year we grew just a tad over 13,000. That's despite being the fastest growing state in the country. Our population growth is still really strong, but yet it is not turning into the type or the number of school enrollment that we see in public schools that we saw prior to the pandemic. Now, when we take a closer look at this, we can see that there is some growth in virtual enrollment. There's some growth in charter school enrollment. And if we pull those numbers out of this equation, if we pull the Texas virtual number out and the charter school enrollment number out, traditional public school brick and mortar enrollment has actually declined by about 15,000 students. So this is really masking what's happening. We are seeing enrollment decline across the state despite what the total numbers are showing. So when we look closely at Region 11, we do have pockets of growth within Region 11. I've outlined the Eagle Mountain School District in red. The darkest green school districts are seeing the highest amount of growth. It is Northwest, Argyle, Eagle Mountain, Saginaw. Those are the fastest 3 growing school districts in Region 11. The gold shaded school districts are seeing enrollment decline, and then those kind of lightly colored districts are seeing kind of flat to small growth. Region 11 has actually seen a decrease of about 4,000 students over the last 5 years. while the Eagle Mountain Saginaw School District has seen an increase of about 14%, or a little over 2,900 students. Now, I mentioned this earlier, the Texas Virtual Online Program. These are enrollment numbers that are attending public schools. So these are ISD virtual programs. There's about 6 programs in Texas that do offer the virtual online program, but look how their numbers have really changed over the last 6 years. You can see the big bump in 21, 22. That was the year following the pandemic. That number kind of made sense for that number to grow. There was still a lot of concern about public health. So that number jumped from 21,400 to 32,300. Then this year, we actually saw our biggest jump in the virtual and online numbers when it went from 42,000 a year ago to 57,100 students this year. These are district enrollments, and you'll spot some of these in your TEA transfer report. That would be Hallsville, Huntsville, Roscoe, Fort Stockton. Those are far West Texas districts that offer that virtual enrollment option, and their numbers are growing by the thousands. And so that is growing in popularity. That now makes up, even though it's small in terms of the total, but it definitely makes up a sizable number that is continuing to grow. When we look at that TE transfer report, the top table outlined in turquoise is the transfers into the district. You can see it has grown by about 58 students over the last 5 years. This year, that transfer in number is at 258 students. The bottom table outlined in light purple represents the students that live in the district that are transferring to neighboring districts or charter schools. That number has climbed about 763 students in the last 5 years. This year, that number stands at about 2,806, with the International Leadership of Texas Charter School making up the largest portion of that number. And then you can see the handful of districts that are surrounding school districts. That Hallsville number, that's that virtual online program, that Hallsville number of 102. You can also spot the Roscoe Collegiate, that's their online program. And I think those make up the virtual students, and possibly the Grapevine Colleyville. Grapevine Colleyville has an online program as well. Now we have a data source that allows us to track the leavers. So this is data where we have looked at the roughly 2,600 students where their student IDs were missing from this year's student file compared to last year's student file. He uses some very complicated AI and some tracking to then look to see where those leavers have relocated to. And what we found was that 80% of the leavers actually did not move. They are still in the district, in their home, and they are simply choosing either a charter school option or transferring to a neighboring district. We also had about 298 of those leavers that made what we call a local move, that moved less than 10 miles from their home. The regional moves moved in that 10 to 49 miles, and then the long distance moved greater than 49 miles. And so you can see, and now we've run this on all of our retainer clients this year, and this is the same pattern that we're seeing. So this is not unique to Eagle Mountain Saginaw, that we're seeing that a majority of the leavers are actually still in their current homes. So this does provide, we believe, some opportunities to get some of those students back. So going forward, we will be running this every year, and then we're going to be identifying in our fall report next year, we'll be looking at returners. So we're going to be looking to see, because we do know that you do have returners, and this happens as well. So going forward, we'll be tracking that so that we can provide some assistance on what's happening as we're preparing for the vouchers. So the vouchers, as you know, will go into effect in the 26-27 school year. Now, there's still some details to be worked out concerning the administration or the logistics of the vouchers. That's coming out of the comptroller's office. So the comptroller's office will then be providing hopefully some details relatively soon about the timing and how that's going to be communicated and how districts will be getting information about those voucher awards. Now, looking at charter schools, charter school enrollment, as I mentioned, is growing it grew about 12,700 students this year. We've got 260 charter school campuses operating in the DFW region, which represents about 124,000 students. We did see about 1,000 student increase this year, and we had 10 separate charter schools open or begin reporting in this 24-25 school year.
Bob, you'll need to get a new dot for the pop-up private schools that are going to be operated out of people's garages.
Yes, they will, there is some limits on that, so they'll have to have 2 years of accreditation before they can start to.
Well, that's good.
That's why they're starting now.
Yes.
That's good to know.
And so, but you're right. I mean, this is something, we do have a source now, and we are geocoding private schools as well. So we will include that in future maps of those private school locations. By our estimate right now, there's between 340 to 350,000 students attending private schools. And when we researched this in other states, we tracked Florida, Ohio, and Indiana. All three of these states already have voucher programs. And so we took a look at their enrollment patterns, and you can see, Florida is the second fastest growing state in the country. You can see how that enrollment has grown, but it really hasn't grown as much as it probably should have either. And we also were able to identify the private school enrollments in those states. So that was public information. And we found that in Florida, that private school enrollment has grown 29% in about a 7-year period. So 29%, and so that's anywhere roughly around 4% per year was that growth in the private school enrollment in Florida. In Ohio, we saw that the private school enrollment grew about 2 to 3% per year. So all three of these states saw pretty significant private school enrollment growth. Now we're doing some deeper research into those states to try to identify where specifically did they see the change, so that we don't just apply a global percentage, but we still have yet to get all of that research done on the specifics of the research in these other states.
I'd be interested to know, and right, who knows? I know there's a lot of gray in all of this, but if that, I know I guess they're not exactly like us. If those were maybe some kids that were online or something that ended up going, that within that 29%, was it something like that? Was it a charter school environment, so that and like you said, you're doing research. That's definitely something I'd be interested in seeing. And I know we're not going to know until we actually experience it here, right? That's the hard part.
What we do know is there's about $1 billion set aside for the funding of it, which if you take the 10,000 per student and just apply it to the private school, that's about 100,000 kids. Now, what we don't know is of those that are applying, how many of those are already in private school?
Right.
So then the net loss will likely be much less. It won't likely be 100,000 kids. It'll likely be somewhere significantly less than that. Then the other aspect of this is the homeschool piece. There's a homeschool piece that's about $2,200 for a homeschool parent. Well, if they fund, that could also be a number of kids that aren't in public schools that take up that voucher money because they're already in homeschool. So therefore that number could be mitigated as well. So we really are very interested to see when is the comptroller's office going to announce the management of it, so that we can understand when they're going to be awarded, so we can then see the list of who's being awarded and the distribution of that.
Were you able to find any data in the other states that you benchmarked to see what percentage of those had come from?
No, we haven't been able to quantify of those how many were already in private school that received the voucher. But what we did see was the private school enrollments grew pretty significantly. So that's the other aspect to this, is how much does the private school enrollment grow?
The states that you have listed, how long has the voucher program been in place?
Florida's relatively recent. Indiana actually adopted their first voucher bill in 2011. And so that may be why their growth has not been as strong, is because they've been under a voucher program longer. And what we saw with Indiana was the first voucher bill in 2011 was very restrictive in terms of qualification. And now they have made adjustments to their voucher program each session. And this session, they have taken away the income requirement. So now in Indiana, it is totally universal. There is no income requirement for the voucher bill in Indiana. Most of the other states do have an income qualifying percentage, as we do in our bill. So again, we're digging into it. It's still a lot to learn, but it's also still the details of how it's going to be administrative are pretty important to see how it's going to be managed. And as you know, the comptroller is about to start a new job. So there's some leadership change that's happening at the comptroller's office, and be interesting to see how that all plays out. So here's the private schools in Region 11. We've got about 39,700 students in private schools in Region 11. Again, we're starting to track this all the way down to the district level. And here's the mid-level projections. I'm feeling a little more that we need to be a little conservative here, which is why I presented a lower forecast. I think the second quarter, hopefully we'll get a bounce in starts in the second quarter. But right now I'm leaning a little more on the conservative side because the tariffs are still hanging over us. The tariffs are very significant for the housing market. I don't know if you recognize how much of the building components, from appliances to windows to doors, light fixtures, a lot of the components of a new house are manufactured overseas. And so we're fortunate in Texas that a majority of our lumber comes local or comes regionally, but across the northern half of the country, a majority of the new home lumber actually comes from Canada. So there is some tariff concern for the new housing market that we're watching very closely. Now, the president has gone back and forth a little bit on tariffs, so we'll really want to see what happens over the next couple of months. It could add some cost to housing, and we don't need any cost to housing. It's already high enough.
Those annual starts, that 212, I mean, there's not even a number close to that on the whole chart going back to 2019.
That's
So
right.
have we ever had that few?
I mean, I can't remember it. So in the last 15, 17 years, I don't remember being that low. I think you'd have to go back to maybe right after the housing crash, maybe right after that would be when that number could have dipped down that low. So somewhere around 2007, 8.
And you expect it to pick back up? There's still
We're
probably.
hopeful that it'll pick back up. The overall DFW numbers have plodded along pretty nicely. So this may be just a regional drop. So with this mid-level projection, you've got a little time before you start to see some challenges at the Eagle Mountain Elementary Zone. And I will say, when you look at the overall picture, the Eagle Mountain Zone, because it has so many futures, this is just maybe pushes back the challenges for the Eagle Mountain Elementary Zone. And then you've got the Hatley Zone. Now you can see it starts to kind of top out below 900. So we may get through a foreseeable amount of time where Hatley actually may not get above its capacity versus, the other 3 zones to keep an eye on will be Comanche Springs, Lake Country, and Elkins. Elkins is staying, near capacity. So we may be all right at those elementaries. At the secondary level, of course, we've got, the middle school capacity coming that will then give us the opportunity to assist Wayside and Prairie Vista. At the high school level, it's Boswell High School that gets really close to capacity, but it doesn't go over capacity over this 10-year forecast. Key takeaways: the first quarter starts were down 48% from a year ago. Definitely the economic uncertainty, tariffs, higher interest rates may be playing into this drop. We do see there's potential for some inventory to close, which might help the closings. It isn't going to help the start rate, but it could help the closing rate just a little bit. We do have groundwork underway on about 1,800 lots. We do think your enrollment could fall between 25,200 to 25,800 in the next 5 years. And in, 10 years, that number could be between 26,000 and 27,000. We think next year's enrollment could be a little over 24,100 students. On the high side, it could get to 24,300 students.
Bob, I have a question on that transfer report that was on 33 in the board book and 14 of your presentation. Are those unique numbers or are those cumulative numbers? Like
that is it's not cumulative.
Okay.
It is that point in time.
So that's how many at that point in time?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, a majority of the districts that we work with see higher transfers out than transfers in. So this is a pretty common pattern. If you were to look at Plano, well, Keller's could be even higher than this, but it's the charters, and now more and more school districts have opened their boundaries. And so it's pretty common that this competition is not just with charters, it's also with surrounding school districts.
Yeah, that'll look okay. The only one that bothers me is Azle. I don't know about going out to Azle.
Again, those could be staff kids. Their parents could live here and they're working in Azle ISD. And so that's why you see a handful of these like that are likely staff kids.
Other questions?
This deal, there's a 700 residential lots that just, I guess, within this last week got approved. I guess that wouldn't be included in here. Part of it is in Northwest ISD. It's on Bonds Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are aware of that. The article and the stuff that came out this week on, pretty significant development with 700 lots right there across from Eagle Mountain High School, which, again, there's a portion of that, a good portion of that's Northwest ISD, but then it cuts through and some of those are ours. And I know that as we've talked to Cleet, that will impact, even though most of those would be Northwest, that'll impact and entice developers that are, to the west of that, right? Because those utilities and stuff, they'll pay to, everybody can just kind of hook on from there.
Yes. Well, and then that 54-inch water main is going to make a huge difference in terms of the development in that area.
So that being the hottest thing that we've talked about, I know that was just put out this week that was approved.
Preliminarily, if it was correct, most of that development that's in our district looked like it was commercial or some type of that. It's right, it's right on Bonds Ranch.
Right.
So,
yep.
But to that point, there is a sizable amount of acreage that's not in the platting process right now. So when you look at this map, you can see those little areas that don't have any activity. So there is still future land that will ultimately turn into additional projects. But this is showing you what we have development information on. So it does change, we will see new futures come online at some point.
Cleet, does the water, was that 54-inch water main, does that help the situation where we were talking about with the schools before? So that puts it back on schedule and?
Yes.
Okay.
So as far as with the city's schedule,
Right.
then we'll have to work with the developer to get to the water, if you will.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Bob, I would just like to thank you for adding the private schools and the charter schools, and the additional information you've given us is very helpful. I know we had talked about that in several meetings before, so thank you for hearing us and adding that to your presentation. So I think that'll be important information for us as we go forward in planning. So thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome.
Excellent report.
We're getting ready. We're also doing a homeschool one. So I've got my research team focused on homeschool research. We're researching homeschool patterns in other states as well to then see, are there any correlations we can make? We're attending the Texas Homeschool Conference, kind of going to be a fly on the wall again and interview and talk to people. So we are going to do a full PowerPoint webinar presentation. It'll be late summer because the the conferences are July.
Right. Well, we appreciate it very
You're
much.
welcome,
Thank
sir.
you
Thank
so
you.
much. All right, thank you so much. All right, we have our monthly construction update, Mr. Cleet Welch.
Good afternoon. That was really, Bob's work there has really been helpful.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
they keep kind of pushing the envelope and expanding what information is out there that we can pull in. Okay, so Wayside, we'll start with it. We got some aerials just overhead. The first one is looking toward the west. And this is looking toward the south. Just notice the roof lines. You're also going to start seeing on the academic areas, the iron work that's progressing in that area. Kind of facing northwest looking, just another different variation. You can see the brown, that's all the iron work. And the sunrise facing east. Okay, so we'll kind of really start from the north and then move to the south. So the first thing you see there is the ductwork, air ductwork in the main competition gym. Also the hallway that connects to the gym and the cafeteria. You can see all that above work is in progress, getting close to completion. And then the brick and the window frames on the weight room area. Moving over to the choir, you got just again more air duct installation, decking in one of the academic middle wing, and on the far right just finished up the elevator pit with the CMU blocks. Going to move toward the cafeteria. So the one on the right, you can see that they're working on the brick in that area. Also the decking has been completed in the cafeteria, and then you see the start on the left side of the above ceiling work in that area also. Last month, they just started some of the framing, and you can see the progress that they made in the cafeteria. So you got them looking into the kitchen and kind of close to the stage. The big theme this month is just ironwork, finishing up in the academic areas. So also you see in the middle that where there was the decking, now it's the concrete has been reinforced there. So that's kind of the next phase in all these, just finishing up the second story. Same theme here, just ironwork, a lot of columns, beams, decking. Project updates. Okay, Eagle Mountain High School, they continue to work on the punch items. What VLK has, and the structural engineer, they did the calculations on in the weight room of that curtain wall system, and it was found that the specifications that were put into that project were not met. So there was more deflection. So they left off some reinforcements, which is like, I mean, this is not the only curtain wall we have in that building. So it's missing that component of steel beam. So working on what the best solution is for them to solve. That's where we're at. And they'll move as quickly as they can.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, just as far as the safety factor of it, we've said that it isn't, and yeah. Is that have they even gotten to the point of talking about, like, is that a take it out and redo the whole thing kind of deal, or
we're working
no?
on that. No,
Yeah.
The glass is there. It just needs to be reinforced with some form of metal beam like the other ones. Like if you go into the library, you don't really notice it until you notice it. And so it's kind of how they're going to do it. So there'll be a time, hopefully that work should be done this summer. So we can start the new year. So there'll be a transition with the weight room for all the summer programs, things like that.
So is VLK or Core taking did they follow the design of that VLK drew?
No, the structural engineer put that in there, and no, it was not followed. So they got to figure that out.
And they don't, so that doesn't indicate, like, as far as the when they fix it or whatever, we don't know, like, how long they'd have to be without that.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have a timeline on that yet. So we kind of talked about this a while ago in the CDG Nuclear Middle School. So we did get good news from the city of Fort Worth on the 54-inch water line. They were able to get the easements, or get TxDOT to work with them. And so that'll be like, they'll start, like the curb stays, but that lane right next to the curb will be, at some point, it'll go down to one lane, because they're gonna have to work within that component. Or it may go down, I don't know, 2 lanes on one side, but they are gonna get to work in the Encore easement, which means all their vehicles, heavy equipment, can stay there instead of being on the roadway. So that was good news. We've scheduled a meeting with BLK, the developer, TMP, which is our civil engineer. That's step one. Now, what else needs to happen in that timeline, and see where we're at. So that's what once we find that out, we'll bring that back to you.
Great news, though. Thank you for working on that so diligently.
So Saginaw Elementary, I mean, we basically have kind of, with that news last week, kind of remobilized our major efforts on the middle school. The Dick and Heidi Elkins Ag Science scheduled for, I believe, July, where we'll come to the board for your consideration, naming a contractor. And the Cibolo Hills Elementary site. So this is the one, well, obviously it's in Cibolo Hills, but the developer has purchased all the land around it. So some of the things that need to happen when we need to use this site is we need to have our fire protection, our water, and the sanitary sewer. So that requires easements with the city of Fort Worth so we can get that site ready to go. And so Hunter will bring that next month to talk to y'all about that for your consideration. But it's all things that we need.
That's potentially number 19,
Yes.
elementary.
Okay, the next one will be a presentation will be okay. And they're going to talk about Saginaw High School after last month, and the direction that we were given. So, Lauren?
Good evening. Good evening, President Tolbert, sorry, members of the board, and thank you so much for allowing me to present for the Saginaw High School additions and renovations. I plan on giving a brief update on the proposed construction phasing for this project. The Saginaw High School Additions and Renovations Project is a comprehensive multi-phase capital improvement project designed to modernize and expand the school's athletic and fine arts and academic facilities. The planned work spans from 2026 through 2028 and reflects the thoughtful response to current space limitations, program growth, and long-term instructional needs. And what you see on your screen right now is the overall proposed phasing of the packages. There's 2 planned packages with identified scopes of work, and I'll review that with you. The new field house is planned just south of the existing field house and meets the programmatic equity between all the high school campuses, Boswell High School and Eagle Mountain High School with the most recent athletic programs. The new indoor practice facility will be located in the footprint of the existing field house, equivalent to Boswell and Eagle Mountain High School indoor practice facilities. The Ag Science Shop relocation will be located as an addition to the main building to optimize access and pedestrian and vehicular site circulation. The Scenery Shop addition to the main building will expand the existing program square footage of the Scene Shop and optimize the work and storage areas for that program. Inside the main campus, select quarters will have lockers removed and accent walls and areas removed, and then also placed back where the lockers are taken out, and VCT flooring will patch back at the removed locker locations to be consistent with the recent renovations that have taken place at that campus. The stadium and press box improvements. The existing stadium will receive upgrades to LED lighting and press box signage, facade repairs, and expand the plaza spaces and improve circulation and game day experience. The security and lighting systems will also be upgraded throughout. The project also includes some mechanical and infrastructure improvements. The life cycle replacement of Aging chillers is included at the main building, and the removal of the central plant at the existing field house, since there will be a new mechanical system serving the field house project. There will be utility rerouting of the electric, water, and storm drainage and sewer, and it has been carefully phased throughout the course of construction. And there are 2 proposed alternates, upgrading the auditorium, including new AV systems, lighting controls, and rigging, and installation of a sunstage structure at the tennis court. This slide shows the initial phase of the utility reroute just south of the existing field house, and also setting a new transformer to serve the field house. So the transformer and the existing electrical easement will need to be vacated prior to moving forward with any other construction due to potential holds on the permit. So once this phase is completed, we'll move into the summer work, which includes the stadium and press box work, and also improvements to the site pavement on the east side between the main building and the existing stadium. The utility relocate is located just south of the existing field house. So that work needs to be done prior because it's going to sit on the footprint of the new field house. So you'll see that in a second. With the relocation of the ag program, it will be located on the northwest corner of the main building. You can see it on the upper blue box here, and then the scenery shop expansions on the south side of the existing scenery shop adjacent to the auditorium. So that work is phased to take place over the course of 10 months. This indicates the new field house, and this is the existing field house located here. This box has shifted, it's actually right here. So the new field house will be constructed while the existing field house remains. And once the field house construction is complete, the students will relocate into the new field house and also move into the ag shop located here.
In that field house would be locker rooms, coaches'
Correct.
offices.
So that will have all the programs, locker room, offices, the weight room, all the
Training room,
facilities.
okay.
Yes.
Lauren, just to clarify, I think you just said this, that left-hand side where you have that 90-degree angle, that's going to be lined up with the...
Yeah, it is on here.
Yes, it shifted, and I don't know why, but it should be outside of the footprint of the existing field house.
Thank you.
This whole slide shifted, so this is actually shown as an addition.
How does that compare square footage wise with what they currently have?
Say that one
How
more
does
time.
that compare square footage wise with what they currently have?
Well, it increases the existing square footage, so it meets Boswell's programmatic square footage and Eagle Mountain High School's programmatic square footage. So there's equity between all the programs. And then this whole slide got shifted, so you get to see how that all shifts to the left. So once the field house is complete and occupied, the demolition of the existing field house would take place. And ideally that would occur during the summer months between 2027 and 2028. And then the construction of the new indoor practice facility would take place. So there would be the least disruptive to ongoing activities at the campus. So that's scheduled to be complete towards the middle of 2028. And that will complete all the phase construction at this campus. I'll take any questions that you may have at this time.
Questions?
Is the cost of that going to be spreading it out that far? Are we going to be able to, once we define the scope of the project, to order things? I know we got tariffs. We just heard about how tariffs and costs are being affected. So we're not even starting it for a year, looks like. We're going to do nothing until summer of 2026.
So right now this project is assumed to be CSP procurement. And in order to do that, you would have to complete that first package, and you wouldn't be able to work on concurrent packages because you wouldn't be able to get a permit. So that's how it's laid out currently. If we want to explore different options of having concurrent work to compress that schedule, we can do that. But it is laid out currently, so there would be no potential holds on the overall package.
Well, I would want to compress it if we can, if there's a lot of cost to waiting
Yeah.
3 years. I mean,
Escalation on.
if the escalation of the cost is going to take us, to add to the 20% of the project, or whatever number, I'm not going to propose a number, but I would think we'd want to compress it just due to the rising cost of construction materials.
Yeah. And
Or at
it
least
makes
look
sense
at it.
because there is escalation. Tariffs are being announced, and it's sporadic right now. The actual tariffs, oftentimes there's that fear that's built in, but I've only seen a few actually come out with proposed tariffs, and you're seeing that in aluminum, you're seeing that in some tile products, in glazing, but that's something we can take a look at.
Yeah, because you take tariffs out, look at what happens to us at Wayside and some other projects that we've had where the cost accelerated so much
Yes.
because we had to wait. So I would at least want that factor to be, so we can consider that. Tell us
Okay.
what that is,
Okay.
how you can compress it, and what the cost is of not compressing.
Well, we would move from a CSP bid to a construction manager at risk is really
Right.
what it would be, where you come in with different packages.
Is that, Clete, what do you think about that? Is that a real concern that it's going to spread out to 2029?
Well, I mean, because it's so many phases, but if you go with a CSP, they may inflate, but they're going to give you the pricing for what it is that day. Whereas the CMAR, you get, each phase will have a different, 6 months, 8 months difference, so they'll have escalation in them too. One of them, you got to plan for it, and one of them, it is whenever we bid it out. So.
I think the board would want to see, that comparison, so we can make a
I agree.
choice.
Well, time will be the biggest thing you're saving, which means, the quicker you get it done, the less money you typically would spend.
That's what I would think.
And also with money, contractors are also getting nervous. So, a current middle school at 19 months at Wayside probably won't be 19 months. We're planning to plan for 2 years because we can't, those tariffs hit and you have supply chain issues. It's going to be another world we will have to face.
Well, with the CMAR though, would we be able to order materials and stuff ahead of time?
They'll order. Either way, they're going to order them and get them in. Then we just got to store them. And they do that, and they have places where they'll do that. So.
It just seems like a long time, and with the cost of
Yeah.
construction going up so rapidly, that if we can compress it, I think we come out ahead. If we can do that. I know the kids are going to have to deal with the construction at Saginaw, but
And really, it's the best case scenario because they get to, in this case, they get to stay in their existing facility. And then tying the ag and getting it off that and tying it next to the building, I think it's going to enhance their whole experience with that program. The kids won't have to walk across the parking lot, so.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do your, I know y'all do really good estimates on inflation, and I know there are a lot of unknowns. Do all of the estimates that y'all have at VLK match up with this timeline in terms of the money that we have?
So with the increase in the scope of work, yes, right now we are tracking to be on budget with the budget that I was told for this project. And with the unknowns with tariffs, then, it's hard to estimate that at this point and what the true impact will be. Because like I said earlier, it's been sporadic what we've been told from our contractors, stating that, okay, well, there will be a 4% tariff on this product on this date.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Lauren, as
All right.
always.
Thank you so much. I
I
appreciate it.
it. Okay. It is currently 6:04 PM on May 19th, 2025. This board will now recess for dinner and then reconvene in a closed meeting pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meeting Act. Section 551.071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney regarding pending litigation or settlements. Section 551072 for the purpose of deliberating on a purchase, exchange, lease, or value of a real property. Section 551.074 for the purpose of deliberating the appointment, employment, reassignment duties, or dismissal of a public officer or employee. We're going to go over contract extensions and renewals for district employees and board officer selection and reorganization. Section 551.076 for the purpose of deliberations regarding the deployment or specific occasions of implementation of security personnel or security audits. And section 551.0821 to discuss specific personal identifying information about a student. This is a public meeting of the Board of Education of the Eagle Mountain Saginaw Independent School District. The board is reconvening the public meeting on May 19th, 2024 at 7:04 p.m. and will now consider the subject set forth in the posted agenda. So welcome everyone. We're glad to have you. We have a full house of wonderful students and families and teachers. So thank you all for being here. We're very excited. And so we will begin with Gilliland Elementaries, and they will be preparing our opening, welcoming everyone.
Good evening, President Holbert, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Hollingsworth. It is truly an honor for me and Ms. Sims to be here this evening, and a privilege to highlight a few of our outstanding Gilliland students who have earned our Top Eagle Award. They will be helping me kick off tonight's opening ceremony, and I'm deeply honored to share this moment with them and their families that have joined them. But first, I'd like to share a little bit more information about these wonderful students that we have here. First off, I have Citlali Contreras. She is a 5th grader. She loves art and theater, and she's planning on taking that as her elective next year in middle school. Her teacher's right. She consistently demonstrates the traits of what it takes to be a top Eagle. She arrives on time, completes her assignments, and is respectful and responsible. She fosters a positive culture in the classroom by treating others with kindness and encouraging others to do well. Citlali wants to be a criminal justice lawyer when she grows up. Next, we have Allison Robles. She's a 4th grader. She loves to draw and jump on the trampoline and cook for her brothers and sisters. She consistently demonstrates our Eagle expectations. She is always responsible, respectful, and safe. She's a good friend and follows all the teacher's directions. And she wants to be a dentist or a teacher when she grows up. Next, we have Jace Sullivan. He is a 3rd grader. He likes playing video games and sports and playing outside with his older brother. His teacher's right. Jace always follows the Eagle expectations and classroom expectation. He is a hard worker and has a kind attitude. He wants to be a YouTuber when he grows up.
Nice.
Next, we have Tobias Muskis. He's 2nd grade. He loves to go to jiu-jitsu class. He's a yellow belt, and he loves playing with his brother after school. His teachers read that he always demonstrates Eagle expectations. Fellow students can look towards him as a model, whether it's in the classroom, the hallway, or even at lunch. He tries his best and is such an amazing student. He wants to be an engineer or a jiu-jitsu instructor when he grows up. Lastly, we have Layla Gonzalez. She's a 1st grader. She loves to draw, and her favorite class is art. Her teachers write that she's an excellent student who always follows the Eagle expectations. She's responsible and is always ready to learn. She participates in class. She completes all of her assignments and always treats others with respect. Layla wants to be a painter or a veterinarian when she grows up.
Very nice.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our second place.
Honor the Texas flag I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Now we will remain a moment of silence. Thank you.
Outstanding job, Gilliland Elementary. Great job. Thank you so much. Okay, now we have some special recognitions, and our first is one of my personal favorites for special recognitions is the recognition of Special Olympic athletes, the Trailblazers. If we have Ms. Levitt.
Good evening. Thank you, President Tolbert, the trustees, and Dr. Hollingsworth for allowing the athletic department to jointly recognize the Trailblazers with our special programs and Dr. Heather Hughes. We're so excited to celebrate these talented group of athletes tonight. Our department is honored to serve and support the Trailblazers. This year, 45 student athletes were participated in bowling, basketball, track across all EMS ISD, ranging from elementary to high school. Out of the 45 athletes, 14 of them were new to the Trailblazers. In October, 31 athletes competed in the Area 11 bowling tournament, with 12 taking home gold medals. This year, the Trailblazers added basketball to the delegation, and in February, 12 athletes competed in the local and area skills competition with a total of 10 gold medals between the two competitions. The Trailblazers also had 5-on-5 teams this year, consisting of 16 athletes. And in February and March, the 5-on-5 teams both took third in the local and area tournaments. In March, the Trailblazers had 37 athletes compete in track and field. We had 31 gold medals at the Chad Powell Special Olympics track meet in Keller. The track meet consisted of the 25-meter walk, the 50-meter run, the 100-meter run, and 4 relay teams, and all the running events. Field events also consisted of the running, long jump, standing long jump, the mini turbo javelin throw, and the softball throw. And then in April, the Area 11 track meet was canceled due to weather and was unable to be rescheduled. But we did have 28 Trailblazers compete at the state level in Melissa, Texas. The esteemed Trailblazers have represented EMS ISD at the highest level. Congratulations to these amazing athletes. But I next want to recognize and introduce our head of delegation, Emily Casper, who will introduce the coaches, the athletes, and the families.
Good evening, and thank you so much for recognizing our team tonight. I'm going to announce each athlete, but before I do, I'm going to announce our coaches who have been tremendous this year, helping us with all of our sports that we've added and the number of athletes that we've added to our team. So if you could come up here, Coach Victoria Kolar. Coach Brittany Galbraith. And Coach Allison Mace-Vicious. Tonight, we have 20 of our athletes here, and I asked them this year what their favorite memory was overall throughout the year. So when I call your name, you're going to come up here and stand next to one of us coaches, okay? All right. All right, first up, Tatum Hoff. She's been with us for 2 years, and her favorite memory was the state championship at track and field. Braylon Richardson, he has been with us for 4 years, and his favorite memory was basketball, starting and having multiple relay teams.
Nathan Belterra, he's also been with us for 4 years, and his favorite memory was hanging out with friends at the Keller track meet. Gina Anderson, she has been with us for 3 years, and her favorite memory was the first state meet she went this year, and she won a gold medal and a silver medal. Madison Encinius, she's been with us for 2 years. Her favorite memory was going to state with her team. We all did good. My coaches are really nice and sweet, and they make me smile and they cheer for us. Kason Dukas, he's been with us for 3 years. His favorite memory was running the relay race in the rain with his teammates at the Summer Games state track meet. Manuel Hanna, he's been with us for 2 years, and he loves all the awards that he's been given. Declan Edwards, he's been with us for 4 years. His favorite memory is improving his softball throw, meeting new friends, and the relay team. Hayden Stiles, he's been with us for 2 years, and his favorite memory is meeting his new friend, Zeke. Abigail Segovia, she has been with us for 2 years. She loves her coaches and all the volunteers that have been able to help her this year and grow so much. Gabriel Ngoji, he has been with us. This is his first year with us, and he's had a good time on the track and field and making new friends. Malia Elliott, this is her first year with us, and she got to score points, make strikes, and have lots of fun. Skylar Pledger, he's been with us for 4 years, and he loves all the dancing parties that happen at the state track meet. Isaiah Hart, he has been with us for 3 years. He loved that he was able to play basketball, and he enjoyed playing defense and to be able to steal the ball. John Farrell, this is his first year with us, and his favorite memory was winning first place in the bowling and track events. Ariane Hernandez, he's been with us for 3 years. His favorite was the 5-on-5 basketball team. Jackson Behringer, he's been with us for 4 years. His favorite memory was bowling with his friends. Jaqueline McCraney, this is his first year with us. He loved track. He loves it here being with the Trailblazers and being able to have friends for a lifetime. Maya Nyberg, she's been with us for 6 years, and her favorite was throwing the javelin in track. Jaden Lacey, she's been with us the last 2 years, and her favorite memory is finally to get to fulfill her life dream of playing basketball. These are your 2025 Trailblazers this year. Y'all can turn around and show them your muscles real fast. Turn around and show them your muscles.
Trailblazers, we are so proud of you, and I am very impressed with all those medals. Wow, there are lots of medals. Awesome job. And Coach Casper and your coaches, thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate you so very much. Awesome. Okay, some more fun recognitions. Thank you, families, for coming. We appreciate it, and thank you for helping us learn alongside your children. Thank you so much. Okay, our next fun group of recognitions is Mrs. Hardy is going to recognize our fine arts winners.
This is the best night ever.
Always.
Best board meeting ever goes
So
to
many
tonight.
good recommendations.
Well, good evening, Dr. Tolbert, members of the board, and Dr. Hollingsworth. Thanks so much for giving us the opportunity to share some other accomplishments of fine arts this year. Our visual arts team in particular has had an incredible year of accomplishments, and their success has been further highlighted by state medalists from all 4 of our comprehensive high schools and HCTC this year. VACE, or the Visual Arts Scholastic Event, is sponsored by the Texas Art Educators Association and allows students to present their original artwork and discuss their creative process with trained jurors who grade their work on purpose, technique, personal expression, organization, and integration, which sounds like a great job description for me. So will you please help me congratulate our state VACE medalists and their teachers? And as I call your high school, if you'll move to my left and we'll fill across the front here. From Boswell High School, we have Jace Mancha and Blessing Masau under the artistic direction of Mr. DJ Pereira. From Chisholm Trail High School, we have Daphne Hernandez Rangel under the artistic direction of Mrs. Carrie Martinez. From Eagle Mountain High School, we have Henry Fletcher under the artistic and parenting direction of Lindsay Fletcher. From Saginaw High School, we have 3 students who are unable to be with us tonight, but we want to make sure that we recognize them: Eliza Castro, Sophia Franco, and Johnson Matingui. Their artwork is out in front for you to look at before you leave this evening. Here with us from Saginaw High School, under the direction of Mrs. Tara Croft and Ian Croft, are B. Levine and Ola Oladipo. Our final Saginaw student representing a VACE award received his award through animation at the HCTC, Mr. Chris Gaucho, under the direction of Mr. Aaron Hudspeth. We have one other visual arts award that we want to highlight this evening. From Saginaw High School, valedictorian Catherine Lee was awarded a 2025 Scholastic Art and Writing Awards National Silver Medal for her digital art. Her work, entitled Different Than I Imagined, will be featured in the online gallery at artandwriting.org. Please welcome Catherine Lee. These students' work is on display in the lobby area for you to see before you leave this evening, and we just want to thank you again for the opportunities that you allow for fine arts. I appreciate the depth of these students' work, their skill, imagination, and insight. Congratulations to each of you.
Great work.
Congratulations, students, and thank you, teachers, for all that you do to inspire them and help them be the best they can be. Appreciate you all.
Congratulations.
Can help my game.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Our next recognition is recognition of National Merit recipients. Dr. Behringer.
Madam President, Dr. Hollingsworth, members of the board. The National Merit Scholarship Program is one of the most highly regarded academic competitions in the United States, honoring students who excel in the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. Approximately 1.5 million students take the PSAT each year, with only about 15,000 advancing to the finalist round. This year, EMS ISD, we have 3 National Merit Scholarship finalists, and we like to recognize with 2 receiving National Merit Scholarships. First, I would like to recognize the valedictorian of Chisholm Trail High School, Elliot Sawyer. Again, Elliot is the Chisholm Trail High School valedictorian. He plans to attend Harvard College to study physics with the goal of earning a PhD in physics and work as a full-time researcher. Elliot is the recipient of the National Merit BNSF Railway Foundation Scholarship. I believe that his parents are here as well. If you guys would stand up to be recognized. Next, I would like to recognize Carrie Boss. Carrie is Boswell High School salutatorian this year. Again, as the 2025 salutatorian at Boswell High School, she plans to attend the University of North Texas to study music education with the goal of working as an elementary music teacher. Thank you. Carrie is a recipient of a $2,500 scholarship from National Merit, and I believe that her parents are here as well. We're also excited to acknowledge Elijah Walker. Mr. Walker is the 2025 Boswell High School valedictorian, and he plans to attend the University of Texas at Austin to study computer science. I want to say congratulations to these students, but also I want to recognize Elijah's parents as well. We understand that this is a huge, huge feat, and we are grateful for the educators that we have in EMS ISD that also pour into these students, but along with their parents. So very, very grateful to you, but also congratulations to our students.
Congratulations to all of you. Quite an accomplishment. Okay, our next recognition is a recognition of Career and Technology Program competition winner, Dr. Eldridge.
President Tolbert, board members, Dr. Hollingsworth, leadership team. I get to be back here another month. This is you can't write this.
Yeah.
You just can't make this up. So we are thrilled to announce that we have another national winner that will be representing the district at a national competition for their CTE program of choice. And so what I'd like to do is ask Chase Punkthavath to join me here. Chase is a 12th grader at Chisholm Trail High School, and he will be representing the district, Chisholm Trail High School, and the entire state of Texas at the HOSA Future Health Professionals National Competition in Nashville, Tennessee. And he is very excited because his sponsor, Mrs. Michelle Dutton, was wanting to go to Nashville, and he thought he could do that for her. Chase's parents, Jenny and Sam Holmsworth, are with us tonight. As Chase will tell you, this didn't happen on his own, and so he thanks his parents for supporting Mrs. Dutton as well. Chase has gone from area at Mansfield ISD to state in Round Rock, which happened just after our last presentation, and so he missed that one, but we said we're going to get you on here. And then at state, he won first place in healthcare issues, and so with that, naming him as the gold medalist, he will be representative and chosen to represent the state at the national level. Not only is Chase representing the district, he is also a health science student who participated in many classes at Chisholm Trail High School and is also a patient care tech student at the Hollenstein Career and Technology Center. And so he has dug into health sciences and dug into representing the district in a way that we are so very grateful. And Chase, know that we're so proud of you and we're grateful for what you do, and good luck in Nashville, and go kick some butt, okay?
Outstanding. Good luck. Congratulations again, and good luck in Nashville. Our last, but not least, recognition is for Substitute Teachers of the Month celebrations. Dr. Kern.
Good evening, President Tolbert, Dr. Hollingsworth, members of the board. It is my honor this evening to be able to present to you our Spring September Substitutes of the Month. We've been fortunate this evening to see a lot of wonderful athletes and scholars, but we know that we can't be able to support our students thoroughly and entirely without wonderful substitutes that we have in our district. So this evening, I'm going to introduce 4 of those to you. And ladies and gentlemen, my substitutes of the month, if you will remain standing after I announce your name, I would be very appreciative. And afterwards, we're going to step out and take some photos. So we're going to begin with our December-January substitute of the month. Nominated by Creekview Middle School, I'd like to invite Mr. Ulrich Desamore to the front. Ulrich, better known as Mr. D, is from Haiti and is passionate about languages and diversity. He speaks 4 languages. He lived in the Dominican Republic and moved to Ecuador for 9 years while teaching French and English as a second language. He moved to the U.S. with his wife in 2024 and began substituting in EMS ISD in April of 24. During this time, he is completing his paperwork to become a certified teacher in this country. He's been a long-term substitute at Marine Creek Middle School since November, and his positive experience with students and the Marine Creek staff is the reason he wants to stay and become an ELAR, Spanish, or French teacher with the district. Mr. D wants to send a shout out to the Marine Creek staff, especially to Ms. Moore, Ms. Wilburn, and all of the campus administrators who have helped to make his time substituting fulfilling and for helping him quickly adapt to a new role and culture. Yeah. Our February substitute of the month is nominated by Chisholm Ridge Elementary School, Bethany Patty. Bethany was born and raised right here in Saginaw, where she attended High Country Elementary School, Prairie Vista Middle School, and Chisholm Trail High School. Growing up in a family of educators, it was only natural for her to be drawn to the world of teaching. Bethany earned her degree in elementary education from the University of North Texas and is currently preparing to take her certification exams this summer. In the meantime, she continues to substitute teach, finding joy in those special light bulb moments when students make connections with new ideas and truly understand something for the first time. She is deeply honored to receive this award and extends heartfelt thanks to all of the educators and paraprofessionals who have helped support and inspired her throughout her journey.
our March Substitute of the Month, nominated by Dozier Elementary School, Betty Garrett. Betty moved to Fort Worth in 2019 to attend Bible college. After her graduation, she found herself able to spend much more time with her grandbabies. Since most of them were in school and only able to visit during the summer school breaks, she decided to become a substitute teacher for EMS ISD. Ms. Garrett has worked with all of the elementary grade levels and loves it, but the students in the structured learning environment classes stole her heart. She has worked with students with special needs for 19 years and loves bringing out the hidden treasures in each one of them as they, in turn, teach her so much as well. Ms. Garrett has been a long-term substitute teacher for the SLE classroom at Dozier since the beginning of December. She is grateful for her time substitute teaching in EMS ISD. And our most recently awarded Substitute of the Month is for April, nominated by Eagle Mountain High School, Mr. Riley Rouse Birdsong. Riley was born and raised in Gypsum, Colorado. He graduated from Arizona State University with a degree in biochemistry while serving as a member of the Marine Corps ROTC program. He served for 4 years in the Marines as a field artillery officer, and during this time he realized he had a passion for mentoring young adults and wanted to continue to serve his community after completing his time with the Marines. Mr. Rouse Birdsong was drawn to substitute teaching because it is a great way to have an authentic experience in the classroom while he too is working on his teaching certificate. He chose EMS ISD because of our commitment to fostering excellence and how welcoming the entire staff has been. Mr. Rouse Birdsong shares that Eagle Mountain High School has the best students and staff, so it makes it easy for him to want to continue to return to help whenever, wherever he can. And so again, I want to thank each and every one of you for the commitment that you make to our students. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you.
Yes, the board would like to thank you as well. We appreciate it so much. Thank you, Dr. Yes, we appreciate you so much. Always needs good, solid, reliable substitutes. So thank you. Okay, that concludes our special recognitions, but we have some special introductions. And so Ms. Sanders would be here for Education Services.
Good evening, Dr. Hollingsworth, President Tolbert, and Board of Trustees. I am very excited this evening to introduce you to 2 new elementary school principals in EMS ISD. I'd like to welcome Dr. Lorraine Johnson up to the podium with me. As the new principal of Comanche Springs Elementary, Dr. Johnson brings more than 30 years dedicated to public education. Dr. Johnson brings a wealth of experience and a deep passion for student success to her new leadership. She holds degrees from Texas A&M University, the University of New Mexico, and Dallas Baptist University. Her career spans a variety of positions, most recently serving as Executive Director of Human Resources for Hillsborough ISD. She has served as both assistant principal and principal, demonstrating a strong commitment to instructional leadership and fostering supportive learning environments. In addition to her instructional experience, Dr. Johnson is also a proud mother of 2 adult daughters, Danielle and Bailey, and they are here with us this evening. If you want to stand, please. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Lorraine Johnson.
Welcome.
And now I would like to ask Karen Polk to join me at the podium. We are proud to announce Karen Polk as principal of Lake Country Elementary. She brings 24 years of experience in Texas public education, including the past 4 years as an elementary principal in Waxahachie ISD. Mrs. Polk began her teaching career in Pasadena ISD prior to relocating to Waxahachie in 2010. She has served in various leadership roles, including principal, instructional coach, elementary math curriculum coordinator, and assistant principal. She is known and respected as an experienced instructional leader who supports student learning, staff leadership, and family engagement. Originally from Louisiana and Arkansas, Mrs. Polk earned her degrees in elementary education and educational leadership from Southwestern Assemblies of God University. She and her husband Trenton have 2 sons, Noah and Jonah, and her family is here this evening, if they will please stand. Please join me in welcoming to EMS ISD, Karen Polk. Welcome.
We're glad to have you. We have one report we did not get completed at the 5 o'clock session, so we will start with that or finish with that. Finance report from Mr. Welch. Budget update. Oh, yeah, if you're finished with introductions and you were only here for that, you can go or you can stay and listen to this exciting budget update. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
I'm just really impressed that our new board member didn't give a whoop out when she.
Yeah, I was really close.
I
was expecting, I'm relatively disappointed. The two of you are sitting here right now.
We both looked at each other.
First opportunity pretty much failed.
That won't happen again. Now that I know I have the green light for that, it's okay from here on out.
Ranger was at the back, I saw him go.
I know, like what?
Good evening, President Tolbert, members of the board, Dr. Hollingsworth. Stand for you again tonight, this time to provide you a budget update at your place because there's always an update to the update. You have a revised presentation for you tonight because we are in that time of the year where things are changing regularly. So, especially being a legislative year. So with that, just a quick recap of where we started. We began the process with the preliminary projections. We presented those to our newly created Financial Integrity and Transparency team, as we have been referring to as our FIT committee. They provided us some feedback and recommendations to our board at the budget workshop on March 11th, 2025. As part of that presentation, as part of that working with the FIT, we talked about the preliminary projections, which was a deficit of $10 million based on our current spending plus the anticipated cost increases. What we didn't have in the model at this point is no compensation because in a legislative year, we don't know what that's going to look like because the legislature will most likely tell us what that has to look like. And so at this point, that model did not include compensation. And so we'll look at that as we get through the legislative session. Our projected fund balances, as just, at the end of this year, we'll be at 70 million is where we're anticipating to be. That's equivalent to about 103 days. With that $10 million projected budget for next year, or deficit for next year, that would pull us down to that $60 million number for our fund balance, which is equivalent to about 88 days. We, as one of the recommendations coming from the FIT committee, and as we talked with the board and board approved, we made a change for our fiscal year start date, which will actually take effect for the 2026-2027 year, but it will impact our budget and our fund balance at the end of the next fiscal year. And that would change our projected fund balance for the end of the 2025-2026 school year to 72 million, or about 105 days. The big piece right now is legislature. What's going to happen with school funding and any other requirements that might come from them as they wrap up the session. Here at the 89th legislative session, there are a couple of things that will impact and that we're watching right now. And the big thing is the bills that are live, those still have life, but we lost a lot of bills in that process last week because of deadlines, like the March 12th or the May 12th, last day for the House committees to report any bills out. A lot of bills fell off at that deadline. Friday, May 16th, was the House had to pass House bills on their second reading. And so a lot of bills fell out of that process that didn't get across that finish line. So the next big deadline is Thursday, May 29th. The Senate would have to return any modified House bills back to the House for consideration, so both chambers can take action and get it to the governor, with the understanding that Monday, June 2nd is sine die. That's the last day of the regular session. So right now, there's a lot of activity happening, and we're watching how that may impact us. And the key is, even though we've had some bills fall out of the process by not getting across the finish line of some of those deadlines, there's always a chance that the theories or the concepts behind those bills may get amended into bills that are still alive. So we have to keep that in mind. So this slide, there's a lot of information on it. And I wanted to do that intentionally so you could see the contrast of what we're seeing in the funding formula related bills. House Bill 2, the House passed that. It's been almost about a month now before they sent it over to the Senate. It's been sitting there for a little bit. House Bill 2 had an increase of $395 to the basic allotment. And I'll just remind you that before the session, it was identified that in order to keep up with the same level of spending, school districts, from back in 2019, which is last time the basic allotment was touched, it would take $1,340 to keep us at that same purchasing level, value of the dollar, and be able to operate at same levels we were in 2019. This was not even, that's what, about a third of that number. And that's what the House sent over at $395 on the basic allotment. It did have some additional requirements. 40% would have to go towards compensation, and it distributed that out. Overall, it was about a $13 million increase of revenues to the school district. Now, with that came additional spending and additional requirements, and there was only about $4 million of those dollars was actually new money that was unrestricted that we could use to against that deficit budget. Again, that's been sitting with the Senate up until last week, and since you got the original version of this presentation, the Senate then provided their committee substitute, which really incorporates a lot of the bills that the Senate had already put in place earlier in the session, and just basically send it back to the House and to work with. That bill, the committee substitute for House Bill 2, provides a $55 increase to the basic allotment. Compared to that $1,340, now we're down to about 4%, not a third of that number.
But true insult, I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And so understanding now, it provides about $9 million overall, but only about $900,000 that has no restrictions to allow us to actually fund our operations and based on our local needs. What it does include is the model of Senate Bill 26, which was this teacher retention allotment, which is $6 million that would go towards teacher pay raises, which would be, it's set up for school districts that have 5,000 or more students. Teachers that had 3 to 4 years of experience would get a $2,500 increase to the salary that would pass through to them through the district. And then teachers that had over 5 years of experience would see $5,500 for an increase. If we Just so you know, while that wouldn't apply to us, districts that are less than 5,000 students, those numbers are $5,000 for a teacher with 3 to 4 years of experience, $10,000 for a teacher with more than 5 years of experience. Pretty significant difference there for districts that are less than 5,000 students. Those districts also receive an adjustment to the basic allotment for being a small school. So just wanted to, they already received an adjustment there as well. So there's some challenges with the bill and just how it's structured. That does not include any compensation for any other employees, but those are on the matrix, which would be teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors. And so everybody else is separated out and not a part of the legislation.
This is one of those points where we're really hopeful that if this passes, that teachers are not really distracted by the shininess of this raise. It really is insulting in the sense, you use that word, and I agree with you, Dr. Tolbert. It's insulting in the sense that it gives a raise to teachers, but it doesn't give districts the ability to give raises for custodians and bus drivers and to hire other people to provide those supports. I talk to teachers all the time, and they're asking for additional support for difficult behaviors and those kinds of things. And this does not give us that flexibility because it's only a $55 increase to that basic allotment. So the state is really tying our hands. They will talk about this being record setting in terms of what they're doing for schools, but it really is kind of a bait and switch. They're giving that money to teachers. Teachers deserve it very, very much so. We're highly supportive of that piece. It's just, it doesn't give us the flexibility on all those other expenses that y'all know are very real. So it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, not to debate the 26 or the Senate, the Senate Bill 2, but what Dr. Hollingsworth said is true, because I've been on some calls with TSB because I'm on the legislative committee, so we've been discussing some of these things, same items. And, you know, the biggest concern is that they're going to promote it as a shiny new thing that we've done for teachers, but in fact, they've cut our ability to fund other employees or hire more teachers, because that was the other thing that they were talking about, is you're going to give these raises and now you don't have any money to hire any additional teachers, so they're going to get bigger class sizes. And we've been trying to get through to the lieutenant governor to make him know that it's not going to be a win-win for him, that he's going to promote this as a win, and then as it sinks in, the teachers and the other staff of the school are going to be saying, no, that this wasn't a win for us because we don't have any help. Our class sizes are bigger because we couldn't afford to hire any more teachers. And so I believe that we hope that message is getting through, but you know, it is Lieutenant Dan, so we're probably not getting through to him.
Well, the last comment that's so very frustrating is, had they just put all of these resources toward the basic allotment, raised the basic allotment by an appropriate level, 40% of that, as you see in that very top bullet, 40% of that has to go to compensation. And, you know, it would have addressed the issues they need in terms of, we all need in terms of teacher compensation, but it would have addressed all the other issues that we have as well. So anyway.
I know you're going to Senate Bill 4 next on your list, but there were some questions today about how much dollars that would cost our district. Leander said it was going to cost them $5 million. Bernie said it was going to cost them about $2.5 or $3 million. So the increase they were going to get from this teacher was going to be taken away by Senate Bill 4. Is that it's not a hold harmless clause, so they're going to raise the homestead exemption.
So the state would fund the increase to the homestead exemption. You know, the funding formula does have an equalizing piece to it. But
a hold harmless, if you will.
A hold harmless.
He's going to have a hold harmless.
Yes.
I'm going to call them then and ask them why they were losing money. Do you know why they would be losing money?
Well, the depends on how that hold harmless is structured, and we're working through that right now to see what that impact would be. It typically, like I said, the funding formula, when collections go down, the state brings back up to reach your tier 1 funding. And so, and that's again where the state will come back and say that they have contributed a significant amount of money to public education, but yet it's not necessarily new dollars. This is not this money that they will use to cover that additional $90,000 for an over 65.
Is a replacement of funds we already had.
It is.
That's right.
It is. It just brings us back to
That's what they were
to where we were.
Yes, sir.
But they will tout that they have spent more on public education, and but that doesn't equate to additional dollars.
They just
for
take
us.
our property tax dollars and convert them to their state funding pot, and then
That's
say they
it.
gave us more money, but all they did was really take our tax dollars we collect from our citizens
Yes,
and put it in the other pocket.
that's exactly.
All right.
So and we do, anticipate that will continue to work through the system, and that those homestead exemption adjustments will make it to the governor's desk.
Said that was going to pass.
Yeah. So, and then just, we already talked about vouchers. That's already been signed by the governor. That will implement in the 2026-27 school year. We'll be watching to see what that impact, as we talked with Mr. Templeton earlier, what will that do to us in the way of ADA in future years. And then the school safety allotment increase, it's both chambers were supportive and had bills. Current committee substitute puts that about a $790,000 additional funding level for us. And just so you know, that only brings us to about half of what that House Bill 3 from 2023 required in the way of funding for those additional safety personnel to meet that requirement. So we'll absolutely appreciate the support for school safety, but we're still short in in meeting that requirement. So y'all have seen this before, just the understanding of, if there is anything that the legislature does or approves, there's usually, while there comes additional revenue, there will come additional spending requirements and so it's not necessarily straight revenue for us when we do whatever they bring us. And so we'll just keep tabs on that. It's playing out as we anticipate that we would see directed funding. Any money they send us will have strings attached, or they'll tell us exactly how to utilize that here locally. So with that, we're basically waiting for the close of the session, which will happen, like I said, end of May, second day in June. And after that, we'll start modeling everything out and bring you back some budget projections based on what we do. And we have a budget workshop scheduled for June 16th at 3 o'clock. That's prior to our regular board meeting, our regular June board meeting. And at that point, we'll see what the fallout is and bring as much of a projection as we can and any decisions we need to make at that point.
Thank you, Rob. Questions, comments? Just do one quick editorial, if I may. Everybody can do whatever they want, but I will tell you that I write a letter to my senators every week. So you don't have to do that. No, I'm not asking anybody to do that, but at least I'm trying, right, to see if they'll listen. And of course, I always get their standard return letter. Thank you for letting me know, But anyway, it's ridiculous and insulting, and it really makes me angry that they are not valuing public education. So that's my editorial, not a representation of the board.
All fair.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay, that concludes our final report of the evening. So we'll go into action items, and our first one is to elect board officers. We'll have a motion.
I move that Dr. Marilyn Tolbert remain as president of the board with Stephen G. Newcomb move into the vice president role, and Paige Ring assume the role of secretary.
Second. Motion by Blake, second by Ron. Any discussion? I'm honored for that nomination. Thank you.
Thank you guys for serving in the way that you do.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for your faith in all of us. We appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Jones, approving our renewal agreement with Gold Star.
Good evening, President Tolbert, members of the board, and Dr. Hollingsworth. Yes, at last month's meeting, we discussed that there is one renewal year remaining on the current agreement that we have with Gold Star Transit. Pending board approval, Gold Star has agreed to provide service for the 2025-26 school year. Gold Star did request a 1.4% CPI increase, which equates to about $109,000 over the current cost. So the recommendation from administration is that we exercise that final renewal year for the 2025-26 school year.
I move we approve amendment number 4 with Gold Star Transit Inc. as presented.
Second. Motion by Steve, second by Ron. Any discussion or questions, comments? All in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne.
And that concludes our action items for this evening. So routine monthly reports, or any questions about any of those? If none, then we'll review the board planning calendar. Dr. Hollingsworth on page 180.
Madam President, thank you. Coming up in June, as you heard from Mr. Welch, we will have a board budget workshop. This will be our second board budget workshop. It will begin at 3 p.m. and then we'll have our regularly scheduled meeting for the month of June. It'll get here early. It will be on June the 16th. And so that's earlier than usual because of our summertime schedules. A couple of other things that I would highlight. At our June regular meeting, we'll have an education services report related to ESL and bilingual. We'll also be able to review our student code of conduct and any changes that we may recommend for the 25-26 school year. And then finally, we'll also have conduct a federal programs public meeting. So those are a few of the highlights from our upcoming board planning calendar.
Thank you, Dr. Hollingsworth. I have a consent agenda for approval. Is there
We
any
approve the
questions?
consent agenda as presented.
Steve. Second, Paige. Motion by Steve, second by Paige. Any questions, comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. So board president's announcements, just a couple of things. At your place, you should have a folder with graduation information on all the details for the at Dickey's, May 31st, and Watson's, I think, is this Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
There was also some information at your place for the VLK Appreciation Dinner on June 10th, so if you can look at that and let Kim and Becky know about that.
I think Kim said the parking pass for the graduation was coming.
The parking pass graduation will come via email or text message to you next week, yeah. But all your other information is there. Summer hours are getting ready to start next week, right? Which, as a reminder, people that the district is closed on Fridays, so I see lots of smiles in the audience for those of you that are watching online. And we are in the last week of school, so that's, can't believe it's here. And
it's upon us.
It's upon us. So I'll wish everyone a wonderful summer of learning, leisure, and lots of fun. Hopefully you'll be safe, and we will, if you're around in June, we'd love to have you at the board meeting. If not, we'll see you soon. Okay, and so that concludes my announcements. Dr. Hollingsworth, your leadership and learning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tolbert, members of the board. Just a few items that I wanted to share with you related to leadership and learning. As I always share with you, we have our monthly enrollment and average daily attendance. We ended the month of April with an enrollment of 23,894 young people. And then our average daily attendance was at 93.87%. As you know, this is something that we continue to track on a regular basis, looking at any way that we can encourage our young people to be in school. Just a real quick recap of our FIT progress update. I wanted to bring this back to your attention. You've seen this multiple times, but the top 5 informed suggestions from our financial integrity and transparency team, number 1 was to increase attendance. 1% increase in attendance for our district means about $2 million additional to us in terms of revenue. So it's really, really important. Obviously, 2 percentage points would get us kind of back to where we were at those pre-COVID levels, and that would mean another $4 million to the good. And so we're really working on that piece because it is something we can actually control. We have begun considering efficiencies in our secondary master schedule. We began that process, and we'll kind of resume that as we get into the fall of this year. Reducing and balancing our classes, we have been about that process. I'm really proud of the work that's being done by principals in communication with our human resources department. And really what that looks at is, instead of us just looking at Prairie Vista for their balancing within their staff, we're looking across all of our middle schools. And if we need to make some adjustments in staffing from one middle school to another, we're doing that. And that's one way that we're able to operate much more efficiently. You'll recall we eliminated those early school release days. That should help us significantly on those 4 days with attendance. That had a pretty negative impact on us, and it also we'll be able to use that for professional learning, and we're excited about the opportunities that that's going to present. And then we continue to look at balancing our campus and FTEs and staffing. Just a real quick recap. We'll go into FIT meeting number 3. Probably at about the end of August. We were looking at our dates this morning in leadership. We're gonna target the end of August for one more FIT committee meeting where we're able to come together and see what the legislature's done, give our team an update on where our budget lands, and then we'll reconvene. Well, not reconvene. We will call together a beefed up Bell schedule design team that's really taking its cue from the FIT team. And so what we'll do with that Bell schedule design team is we want to make some decisions really mid-fall, certainly by late fall. We want to make a definitive decision about what we're going to do for a more efficient high school schedule, and that'll allow us plenty of time to plan ahead for putting that into place in August of 26. And so that's an update that I want to make sure that y'all were aware of. And then I also wanted to make you aware of something we're very excited about. You'll hear a lot more about this in the coming weeks, months, and years, but we are moving toward the development of a balanced scorecard. It will be born out of Aspire 2027. We'll take our strategic plan and we'll boil that down into a much more succinct, focused plan that will have very measurable marks that will bring regular updates to the board. We'll have 4 very clear priorities, one focused on student achievement, one focused on staff satisfaction, one focused on engagement with our community, and one focused on fiscal responsibility. And we'll bring those to you in a regular rhythm of accountability where we're reporting to you at least twice a year, if not more, on progress on each of those priorities. We started that work this last week with our district leadership team, and we're really excited to really refine that as we go throughout the summer. Upcoming events, some kids are aware of that Friday, May 23rd, is going to be the last day of instruction here in Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. It will be an early release day. We'll release them on the community early. And then that evening for May 23rd, we'll have our Watson High School graduation. Very much looking forward to joining Principal Stitt and her team. And we'll be at the Jared Hardy Performing Arts Center at Chisholm Trail High School. So looking forward to that. May 26th, the district will be closed for the Memorial Day holiday. And then we do have a slew of high school graduations on Saturday, May 31st. I hope y'all will join me there at Dickies Arena. We'll spend a full day together as we graduate a lot of kids, and it's going to be just a fantastic celebration of all the things that are great about the school business. And we get very frustrated, I know, at our legislature, and it's because they don't see all the things that we're able to celebrate here. And so, but life is good in Eagle Mountain Saginaw ISD. So
Absolutely.
that concludes my report. Oh, the district will be closed on June 19th, which is National Juneteenth Celebration Day, and also June 30th through July 4th. We will have those that closed as well. June 16th, we've already talked about our budget workshop and our regular board meeting. I'm going backward, but June 3rd, we have our Bracken and Ellis Client Appreciation Dinner. So that concludes our upcoming dates.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Hollingsworth. We appreciate it.
Madam President, seeing there's no further business to come before this board, I move we adjourn.
Second. Motion by Steve, second by Paige. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0.